What if one man could grip the entire oil chain? From the moment it bubbled up from the ground to the lamp burning in your parlor. What if every barrel, every flame, every flicker of light passed through his hands first? That was John D. Rockefeller's vision, and soon, America's nightmare. In the early days of oil, the business was chaos. Wells in Pennsylvania gushed and went dry overnight. Refineries popped up and collapsed like tents at a fair. Barrels were expensive, transport unreliable, kerosene impure. The result: waste, confusion, fires, prices that rose and fell like storms. Most men only saw the mess. Rockefeller saw the gap. If he could control not just refining, but every link, the supply, the transport, the sale, he would not simply be rich, he would be inevitable. At first, Rockefeller avoided drilling. Too risky, he thought. Too many dry holes. But as his grip on refining tightened, he realized if others owned the wells, they could strangle him. So quietly, Standard Oil bought producing fields. Not many, just enough to guarantee a steady flow. These wells fed directly into his refineries. Rivals saw a clever businessman. They did not see the trap. Once Rockefeller touched the source, no one could squeeze him out. But oil wasn't oil without barrels, and barrels were expensive, sometimes costlier than the oil they held. So Rockefeller built his own cooperages. He ordered his men to buy timber, iron hoops, nails, glue, in bulk, at discounts. He paid workers directly. The price of each barrel plummeted. Rivals still bought at market rates. Rockefeller laughed. With every barrel, he saved pennies. With millions of barrels, he saved fortunes. He controlled not just oil, but the very vessels that carried it. And then, the arteries of the empire, the railroads. We already saw how Rockefeller bent them to his will. But this time it was more than discounts. He negotiated entire contracts for his shipments. He built secret pipelines that fed oil directly from refineries to depots. By the time rivals carted their barrels on wagons through the mud, Rockefeller's oil was already halfway across the nation. To control oil, he controlled its flow. Waste, Rockefeller despised it. In every drop of crude, he demanded value. Others threw away gasoline. Useless, they thought. Rockefeller kept it. Others wasted lubricants, waxes, tar. He sold them all, to factories, to railroads, to candle makers, to shipyards. Nothing wasted. Every byproduct became a product. Every product became profit. Standard Oil was not just refining kerosene, it was refining waste into power. But Rockefeller's genius was not only in barrels, trains, and wells. It was in the final mile, the retail. Standard Oil agents appeared in city streets and country towns. They set up branded depots, warehouses, stores. Their kerosene was clean, safe, reliable, sold in polished blue cans with the Standard Oil name. Housewives trusted it. Shopkeepers stocked it. Farmers lit it. Soon, from New York to Kansas, the name Standard Oil meant more than kerosene. It meant light itself. For competitors, this was suffocation. Even if they drilled their own wells, they needed barrels. Even if they refined, they needed railroads. Even if they shipped, they needed customers. And Rockefeller had them all. Rivals tried cutting prices. He cut lower. Rivals tried alliances. He bought them. Rivals tried lawsuits. He hid behind contracts. The oil business was no longer a free-for-all. It was a single hand squeezing the throat of an industry. To the public, Rockefeller spoke of stability, safety, trust. Standard Oil lamps burned brighter, cleaner, safer than homemade kerosene. They caused fewer fires, fewer explosions. He was praised as the man who tamed oil, who brought light to millions of homes. He was not lying. But what he did not say, that every flame depended on him alone. But the cost was hidden. Small refiners vanished.
Independent drillers were crushed. Families who once dreamed of oil fortunes lost everything. The market shrank to one face, one name, one empire. Competition was no longer survival of the fittest. It was survival against Standard Oil, and no one survived for long. By the late 1870s, Rockefeller had done what no man before him had achieved. He controlled oil from the ground to the lamp, from the cooper's hammer to the housewife's table, from the gush of a well to the glow of a flame. This was not just vertical integration, it was vertical domination. The oil age was no longer a frontier, it was an empire, and its emperor was John D. Rockefeller. He did not wield armies, he did not sit on a throne, and yet his control was more complete than kings. For what is power, if not the ability to touch every moment of another's life? From the spark of a match to the hush of nightfall, Rockefeller's reach was inescapable. The empire of oil was no longer just rising, it was already here.